Hey guys, it's Jeff. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. This was released in 1979 and it's 143 pages long, at least in my version. It follows our main character, Arthur Dent, who is a human on Earth, along with his alien humanoid friend, Ford Prefect, moments before Earth gets destroyed for an intergalactic highway to be built in its place. And if you couldn't already tell by the premise of this book that Earth is going to be destroyed for an intergalactic highway, this book is hilarious. It has a wonderful cast of characters that are very easily distinguished as soon as they're introduced. My favorite is Marvin, a depressed robot that hates life and everything in it. He has absolutely no joy, and the way that he drags down the other characters with his depression and their reactions to him is absolutely hilarious, and it's my favorite part of the whole book. Arthur Dent is just a regular guy that just kind of gets swept up into these crazy adventures of traversing the galaxy with Ford Prefect and the other characters. Ford Prefect is Arthur Dent's humanoid alien friend that he's known for, I think, maybe like 10 years now. Ford Prefect has been stuck on Earth for 15 years writing The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is basically the same book that you and I are reading. But in the context of the book, it's almost like a guide to how to survive the galaxy, where Ford Prefect and then like other people are basically like researchers that travel around the galaxy and the universe, writing entries into the book. It's like an electronic book that it's almost like a phone where you take it out and you kind of like Google search. All right, I want to learn about Earth, and then a whole list of things pops up pertaining to that. The reason why it's electronic, obviously, is because there's so many planets and so many creatures and things around just the galaxy and not even the whole universe. But that they joke that in the book, if it was actually written on paper, it would be like several skyscrapers tall because of the amount of information that's contained within it. So they put it in an electronic form so that it's easy to carry around and that data entries can be easily added later on. Ford Prefect is very dry and doesn't understand sarcasm. On his home planet of Beetlejuice, like Beetlejuice 1, I think, or Beetlejuice 4 or something like that, the whole planet just doesn't have sarcasm. And so when someone is like making a joke or something that he doesn't understand, it kind of just goes right over his head. Like, for example, when right after Earth gets destroyed and Arthur and Ford Prefect get like transported onto this spaceship that's traveling past Earth, Ford Prefect goes, Earth was just destroyed, and Arthur's like, yeah, I'm a little upset about that. And Ford Prefect is like, it just takes a second, like, yes, I can see why that would be upsetting to you. And Arthur's like, dude, what do you mean you can see why that's upsetting to me? Like, my whole planet just got destroyed, and you have to like take a minute to think about it. So that's just the type of humor that you can find throughout this book, is like your entire home world gets destroyed. You're almost the only human left in existence, and someone's like, you know what? My home planet being destroyed, that would be upsetting. Yes, I can see your point of view. Like, it's just really dry like that, and I love it. Zaphod Beeblebrox is a two-headed alien that captains the Heart of Gold, which is a spaceship that has an improbability drive that basically is unpredictable and takes him and the crew to different parts of the galaxy and the universe kind of unpredictably. And he is recently the president of the galaxy, but the only reason he became president of the galaxy is so that he could steal that Heart of Gold ship. And that's about it. There are so many one-liners in this book that make you actually laugh out loud rather than just through your nose, So if you're reading, you're like, it doesn't make you do that. It actually makes you laugh out loud, which is really refreshing because this is really the first book that I've read that's actually funny. I don't know if you probably Google, funny books, but there's really no like funny section if you go to like the bookstore. So it's really nice to actually come across a book that is humorous and that makes you laugh out loud and not just, chuckle to yourself. And then there's Trillian, who is Zaphod's right-hand woman, who left Earth 6 months before its destruction. And Arthur and Trillian are the only two known humans left in existence after Earth's been destroyed. So at its core, the story of the book is basically about this gang of characters that traverses the galaxy and all of the crazy adventures that they get themselves into. Now, there really isn't that much of a story that's really coherent or, deep, I guess. I think that's kind of expected to be within the comedy genre. Like, if you watch comedy movies, it's not like, it's not a fantastic story. They have to focus on the humor. And I think humor books are probably the same, where there is a story there, but it's a little meandering because of just how short it is. It's only 143 pages in my version. And I think, obviously their focus wants to be on the humor, but humor without a story, it's just, there's no context to it. But so there is kind of a story, but it's not like there's any type of purpose or goal for it. So I really liked that the book was only 143 pages long. It was short and to the point, but I'm already on book 2. I started book 2 because the version that I have has all 5 books in it. I'm on book 2, but to be honest with you, I think I might have to, in the future, take some time off in between reading these books by reading another book, because I can really only handle so much quirkiness at one time. And I kind of want to finish the second book to not get it over with, but it's a little too, like, I don't want to have so much humor all at once. Like, I think it'd be better for me to just like take a break in between these books, because and so far book 2 isn't as good as the first one, which from what I've read online, the other ones don't hold up to that original standard. It's still funny, but first one is such a classic that I might just have to take a break from it after reading the second one. So for the people that have actually read the book, my favorite part is when the crew visits Magrathea after they find it by accident, because I think the ship, the Heart of Gold, led them there through its improbability drive, and which gets Zaphod really excited about visiting the planet, because it's supposed to be just a planet of myth and legend that you hear stories about, and it's a planet that builds other planets. So if you're rich enough to be able to afford building a planet of, entirely of gold, or entirely of, pretty much whatever you can think of, if you have the money for it, this planet will do it for you. But over time, their reasoning, once they visit the planet, the economy broke down and we've been waiting for, what was it, like 10 million years. We've all been in slumber for 10 million years waiting for the economy to get better again so that people can afford these types of luxuries, which is really funny. And I really enjoyed Arthur's interaction with Slart Bardafast, the old guy that he happens to come across when he gets separated from the group on the planet, and the whole like chamber that they visit, where they go into like hyperspace and they visit the chamber where it holds the planets that are in construction, I thought was a really cool idea. And I picture Slart Bardafast as like Gandalf the Grey, like the really long beard and like a gray, pointy hat, and a gray robe and like a big walking stick. That's kind of just how I picture him, which kind of makes it a little bit funnier. So taking all of this into consideration, I'm going to give this book a 5 out of 5. So at the end of the day, the main question that I have to ask myself is, did I enjoy reading this book? And the answer is yes. And I think you'll enjoy reading it too. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next book review.